Look around and ask yourself, where would you be today without sustainable access to water? It's a question not too many consider. We're always able to access water in our daily lives, and we are never concerned with quality or quantity. But water security is not a shared privilege, even within our own country.
Canada's coastal communities are constantly at risk of having their water security threatened by economic development to access ocean resources. But consumption also requires sustainability, and the Canadian Impact Assessment Act is meant to ensure coastal developments align with government's economic and environmental priorities.
Unfortunately, the Impact Assessment Act has not met its mark in ensuring that environmental effects are accurately assessed, and as a result, the balance between economic security and water security is at risk.
My project focuses on the Roberts Bank Terminal 2 project as an example of where the assessment fails to frame water security as a priority. The project is a proposal to expand the existing Delta Port and West Shore terminals, including the dredging and construction around the Fraser River estuary. If approved, it would increase marine traffic in the Georgia Strait, especially around the project site. Communities have identified significant environmental concerns, mainly the risk to the adjacent Roberts Bank Wildlife Reserve, which is home to a number of critically vulnerable species including the western sandpiper, Chinook salmon, and many more identified. The RBT2 impact assessment conducted by an independent panel didn't accurately portray these environmental concerns as red flags, but instead provided mitigation strategies to lessen the environmental burden. As I see it, the assessment calls into question where should we be drawing the line between economic profit and safeguarding our waters. From my research, I explored how water security was defined around the world and what role it plays in the country's coastal development plan. I found that Canada currently is pledged towards the blue economy model, which advocates a balanced agenda between environmental protection, conservation, and economic production. Alternatively, two frameworks by the Finnish Environmental Institute and the Hanoi University provided concepts that centered water and ecological safeguarding as central factors in coastal management frameworks. Unlike the blue economy model, these two frameworks address the elephant in the room where governments tend to unfairly favor economic gain over environmental safeguarding. When looking back to the RBT2 project, I noticed two identifiable gaps that contradicted Canada's pledge to a balanced agenda. The first was the heavy impact on the southern resident killer whale, which is currently listed as critically endangered by the government and yet would have a habitat loss from the increase in shipping traffic. The second was the overlooked alternative port in Prince Rupert just to the north, which many experts have said is a better option for the project because of its deeper harbor basin and easier access to open ocean. After seeing the global success in prioritizing water security through the frameworks I found, I would suggest that Canada realign its Impact Assessment Act so that environmental effects are equitably balanced against economic profit. This concept map outlines how this can be accomplished and shows water security as important as economic security. Both are filtered through national strategies of consumption awareness, industry accountability, and effective policy to produce sustainable coastal development.
In conclusion, the aim of this project was not necessarily meant to halt the progress of the RBT2 project, but to rather illuminate the necessity for water security to be at the central point of the assessment framework. By using the methods outlined in this project, Canadian coastal communities would benefit from a redefined assessment framework for the Canadian government that would see environmental and economic priorities balanced, ultimately leading to a sustainable future along our coasts.